The Minnesota Vikings have officially hired Klint Kubiak as the 2021 Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator. And this was a necessary hire. Now, I've talked about it on the podcast already, but I said this is the only hire that makes sense. Now, is he the best option for the Minnesota Vikings as a offensive coordinator? Is he the most fit for the offensive coordinator position? No. However, we can't change up this Vikings offense. This last season, we saw how this Vikings team operates. You establish the run early. Once you establish the run, you use the play action pass set up the pass. You use that run to set up the pass once you establish the run with Dalvin Cook early in the game, and this is what led to a very good Minnesota Vikings offense in the 2020 season. Was it a great offense? No. It was only a good offense, and that's because of the offensive line. Of course, the biggest need this offseason is the offensive guard position. Outside of that, the Vikings offense looked great all around the board. With, of course, the top three running back in the league, Dalvin Cook, wide receiver core with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, a tight end group with Kyle Rudolph, Irv Smith Jr., and Tyler Conklin, three tight ends there, and Chad Beebe inside the slot. This was a great offense the Minnesota Vikings built around Kirk Cousins. In fact, if we had a good offensive guard, if we were set at least average at the offensive guard position, you would see the potential this Minnesota Vikings offense has. Because the thing about Kirk Cousins, although he's a great passer when he's inside the pocket and he can move with his legs, he suffers at feeling the blitz is the problem. If he could feel the blitz more, he would be able to move around more. He can't run, he can't throw while on the run. He's not like Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. He can't throw when he's on the run. And that's not saying a whole lot. I mean, most quarterbacks can't do that. I just named possibly the only three in the NFL that can throw while running full speed. But once again, he does have to stop. So he's a quarterback that you have to give him a lot of protection, a quarterback that you have to give him a lot of weapons, which he has. He does have a lot of weapons. We take a look at this Minnesota Vikings offense the 2020 season. Second in total yards in the 2020 season, 14th in passing yards, 5th in rushing, 11th in points scored, and 16th in third down completion percentage. So you take a look at this and you look at right now, where do the Minnesota Vikings need to improve? The third down and passing. The reason why the Minnesota Vikings suffered on both third down and passing, these go hand in hand, is because of the offensive guard position. I can pull up every third down that the Minnesota Vikings have had this entire 2020 season, and you will see exactly why our third down completion percentage is so low. Because when it's third and long, you know the Minnesota Vikings are going to pass. And you know once you blitz Kirk Cousins, because it's very easy to get a blitz on Kirk Cousins, once you pressure him, there will be a mistake. And this is why the Minnesota Vikings yards through the air wasn't as good as it should have been, or third down completion percentage wasn't as good as it should have been, was simply because of the offensive line. Because when we're in a division where we have Khalil Mack, where we have Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, we have Jamie Collins, there is so many linebackers who can blitz on us, not to mention the fact that they also would blitz Jair Alexander. There was cornerback safety blitz going around as well. We're in a division where they can blitz us with ease with these linebackers. And we don't have a good guards at all. And if they can fill this role in free agency, you will see the potential this Minnesota Vikings offense has. Well, this raises the question, why did the Vikings have a bad season then? Because they're allowing more points on defense than they are on offense. Because our defense is that bad, and that needs to be the focus. I mean, of course, guard is the primary focus, but outside of that, defense needs to be the focus, because I think we were averaging about 30 points allowed a game, and the offense was averaging about 27 points scored. So again, when you look at that, that is a very red flag. You don't want to be allowing more points than scoring. I mean, that's how you win games in the end. Anyways, I do like how this Minnesota Vikings offense looks. And for that reason, you don't want an outside hire. You want to hire someone who's in your coaching staff, like Klint Kubiak, who has been under this coaching offense, who has been under this offensive scheme for some time now. You take a look at his coaching career. He's been with the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's been 3 years at least. 3 years at least. Of course, when Gary Kubiak was here, he was here this last season when he was offensive coordinator. He was here when Kevin Stefanski was offensive coordinator, and he was also here sometime down the road after he was with Texas A&M as well. So he's been with the Minnesota Vikings for some time now, and he's been under this offense enough to know the playbook, enough to know how Kirk Cousins works. He's been a quarterback coach. He has a good relationship with Kirk Cousins. If you saw his press conference when he was hired, it was exactly what you wanted to hear. And this really, I don't get it, because from what I see on social media and everywhere, Minnesota Vikings fans are not very excited with the hire. And I don't understand why. Because this is the best hire that you can have. Yes, there's guys out there who are more fit to be an offensive coordinator. I understand. But this is a player or a coach who has been under this coaching staff for some time now and is ready to be the offensive coordinator. He's worked with Kirk Cousins. He's worked with these wide receivers. He's worked with this offense enough to know the offense. We don't want an outside hire coming in to an already established offense. This is an established offense. Whether you saw it last year or whether you wanted to see it last year or not, I mean, we did see it. Whether you wanted to see it last year or not, this is an established offense. And once you establish that run, you set up the pass. And this is how the Vikings have operated. And if we can fix the offensive guard position, you will see the potential this Vikings offense has. I wasn't the biggest fan of Gary Kubiak. I'm going to be honest. And this is Klint Kubiak's son, Gary Kubiak, offensive coordinator last year. Wasn't the biggest fan. And I mean, I understand why he would retire. But at the same time, I just don't understand not using Kyle Rudolph. This is the only thing that I can really criticize Gary Kubiak about, that I hope Klint Kubiak does a better job. Because Kyle Rudolph has shown throughout every career, and people say Kyle Rudolph took a big decline in 2020, and that is just not the case. It's because he wasn't being utilized in the pass game. They were using him as a blocker every single down. They were not utilizing him in the pass game, and we have seen what he can do when utilized in the pass game. We saw this week 3 against the Titans when he had that one-handed reception, and that's his only touchdown of the whole season. And we saw what he could do the season before that. We saw the potential that Kyle Rudolph has, and I don't know if Kyle Rudolph's going to still be with the team. In fact, I would like him to be traded because of this cap scenario that the Vikings are in. I would like to see Kyle Rudolph be traded and that money move to possibly offensive line or defensive line. But once again, if we do have Kyle Rudolph back, I really hope Klint Kubiak can use him some more. And yes, I understand Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson would get less targets this way. They wouldn't be getting somewhere around 8 receptions a game. But you got to use Kyle Rudolph more because he is one of the best red zone catchers in the NFL. This guy is 6'6". He can catch over anybody. And I just don't understand why Gary Kubiak was not utilizing him, in that he was only using him as a blocker. And I'm hoping to see more from Klint Kubiak if Kyle Rudolph is back. But that's the only thing I can really criticize Gary Kubiak about right now, is that I would like to see a difference in his son. So at the same time, the relationship that Klint Kubiak has with Kirk Cousins is already there. We know that they have a good relationship. They've both said it on both sides. And if that's very important, by the way, that is very important. And this could really work if we can get that guard position fixed. We will see the Vikings offense what it can be. And yes, it'll be under Klint Kubiak. I know this. Still miss Kevin Stefanski. I miss Kevin Stefanski a lot. But once again, I have high hopes for Klint Kubiak. Let me know what y'all think.